there's a lot of astrology in the Bible. And what's happening is that the astrological inspiration that used to hit people from without is being internalized. And so, with this story of Abraham sacrificing the ram that the angels presented to him on the mountaintop in place of his son, Rudolf Steiner says that the ram, Aries, is associated with the two-petaled lotus, the brow chakra. And if you look at some of the diagrams from medieval Europe that have the zodiac superimposed on the human body, you will see that Aries is up on the forehead, associated with the head forces. So what's happening there, according to Steiner, is that Abraham is being asked to sacrifice the intuitive spiritual perception that was inherent to humanity when we perceived the images that arose in our mind as messages from spirit. So Steiner says that Abraham was actually the first person to possess the rational intellect. And we needed rational intellectuality to liberate us from spiritual compulsion and to master the physical world, because what that gives us is freedom. And human beings are meant to reconcile the polarity of freedom and love. Another example in the Old Testament that'll make more sense through the anthroposophical lens is the dream that Abraham's great grandson Joseph has, in which the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bow down to him. The 11 stars are 11 of the zodiac signs, and Joseph experiences himself to be the 12th. And when he tells his brothers about this, they banish him from the tribe because he's partaking of that old intuitive spiritual perception that Abraham ushered away through the sacrifice of the ram. And so what they do is they throw him in a pit for 3 days, which also has symbolic significance. It is an echo of the old form of initiation in Egypt, in which the Hierophant would lull the aspirant into a 3-day hypnotic sleep in which they would directly experience the spiritual world and come back having been initiated. So what happens to Joseph is he gets discovered by a group of Egyptians, and he finds himself in the presence of the Pharaoh, and he gains the favor of the Pharaoh by interpreting his dreams. And when his brothers find him and he's leveled up in that Egyptian culture and they're brought in a lowly way, I think as slaves, he then initiates his 11 brothers, and they become the leaders of the 12 tribes of Israel. And so there's an obvious correspondence there with the 12 zodiac signs being internalized. The third story is when Moses goes up on to the mountain and has that experience with Yahweh, and he comes down, he's got the 2 horns evoking Aries, and he finds that his followers have fallen into decadence and are now worshiping the golden calf. The golden calf is a symbol of the old ways of spirituality that were taking place in the Egyptian culture during the age of Taurus. So this was all taking place during the transition from the age of Taurus to the age of Aries. And the way that you determine what zodiacal age you're in is based on what sign is on the horizon at sunrise on the vernal equinox. So at about this time, Aries was creeping up, and we were coming into a new mode of consciousness. Rudolf Steiner has a famous phrase in which he said something like, "The stars once spoke to man, they're silent now." That is a source of sadness for humanity, or maybe a source of anxiety. But soon we will be able to speak to the stars. So instead of the stars speaking to us, we will be able to know the language of the cosmos and consciously participate in that. And back in Steiner's day, he said, don't mess with any astrology. There's so many charlatans. No one knows what they're doing. But now, around 100 years after his death, astrology has progressed. There's some good stuff out there. And so I highly recommend looking into Adrian Anderson and some other. My buddy Roberto Corona on here has a great YouTube channel in which he provides anthroposophical insights through the lens of astrology. And so we can come to a deeper personal understanding of some of these more obscure stories in the Bible if we look at them through the lens of the mysteries of time, the evolution of human consciousness, in which we gain spiritual perception, we experience it from within ourselves and our bodily nature. I hope you found this interesting, and I hope that if you did, comment and let me know, and share it with your friends. Thank you for watching. Peace.